Have you ever wondered how turtles bring the next generation into the world? From the surprisingly aggressive courtship rituals to the incredible journey of tiny hatchlings breaking free from their underground nests, the reproductive cycle of turtles is nothing short of extraordinary. Today, we're diving deep into the complete life cycle of turtles, covering everything from sexual maturity to the moment those adorable hatchlings take their first steps toward independence. Whether you're a turtle enthusiast, a pet owner, or just curious about these ancient reptiles, stick around because what you're about to learn will change how you see these remarkable creatures forever. And let's get started. Before turtles can reproduce, they need to reach sexual maturity. And this process is far more complex than you might think. Here's the fascinating part. Male turtles typically mature much earlier than females. Depending on the species, males can be ready to mate anywhere between 5 to 10 years of age. Females, on the other hand, take their time, maturing anywhere from 8 to 20 years or even longer in some species. But here's what makes turtles truly unique. Maturity isn't just about age. It's primarily determined by size and overall health. A well-fed, healthy turtle in optimal conditions might mature faster than one struggling in a harsh environment. This is nature's way of ensuring only the strongest, healthiest individuals pass on their genes. For example, a red-eared slider might reach maturity at 5 years in captivity with abundant food, while its wild counterpart might take 7 to 8 years. Box turtles can take even longer, sometimes not maturing until they're 15 or 20 years old. This delayed maturity is actually an evolutionary advantage. By waiting until they're large and strong enough, female turtles can produce healthier clutches and have better survival rates during the demanding nesting process. Now let's talk about turtle romance. And I have to warn you, it's not exactly what you'd call gentle. Turtle courtship can look surprisingly aggressive, even violent to the untrained eye. But don't worry, this is completely normal behavior that's been refined over millions of years. Male courtship behaviors. Watch closely as the male approaches a potential mate. First, you'll see head bobbing. This isn't random. The speed and pattern are actually species-specific, like a secret code. Some species bob rapidly, others slowly and deliberately. Think of it as the turtle equivalent of a peacock displaying its feathers. But the head bobbing is just the beginning. Males will also ram or nudge the female's shell, sometimes quite forcefully. They may bite at her legs or the edges of her shell. You might see the male circling the female repeatedly, creating what looks like a chaotic dance. Now, why all this seemingly aggressive behavior? The male is actually accomplishing 3 important things. First, he's showing dominance and strength, proving he's worthy of passing on his genes. Second, he's testing the female's receptiveness. Is she interested, or should he move on? And third, in some species, this stimulation is actually necessary to trigger the female's reproductive response. Female response. The female's reaction tells you everything you need to know about her readiness to mate. If she's receptive, she'll stay relatively still or walk slowly, allowing the male to continue his advances. But if she's not interested, she'll make it crystal clear, walking away quickly, sometimes even becoming aggressive herself, snapping or pushing the male away. And that's her right. In the turtle world, the female always has the final say. Some females will actively avoid males during certain times, seeking shelter or basking in spots males can't reach. This is completely natural and ensures mating happens only when conditions are optimal. Once the female signals her acceptance, the actual mating process begins. The male mounts the female from behind, using his typically longer tail to align their cloacas, the reproductive opening found in most reptiles. This positioning is crucial for successful fertilization. Here's something that surprises many people. Turtles can be quite vocal during mating. Males especially may make grunting, squeaking, or even hissing sounds. If you've ever heard these sounds from your pet turtles, don't be alarmed. It's perfectly normal reproductive behavior. The mating process itself can last anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes, though this varies by species. And it doesn't stop there. Males and females may mate multiple times over the course of several days or even weeks during breeding season. But here's the truly remarkable part. Females have the ability to store sperm internally for extended periods. We're not talking days or weeks. Some female turtles can store viable sperm for months or even years in some cases. This means a single successful mating can result in multiple fertile clutches over several seasons. This incredible adaptation ensures reproductive success even when males are scarce or environmental conditions make mating difficult. It's one of nature's most elegant solutions to the challenges of survival. Unlike many animals, fertilization in turtles happens internally, inside the female's body after mating. Once fertilized, the eggs begin developing within the female. This internal development period typically lasts between 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the species and environmental conditions. During this time, the female's body is working overtime, forming the protective shells around each egg and nourishing the developing embryos. As the eggs develop, you'll notice dramatic changes in the female's behavior. She becomes restless, often pacing her enclosure or territory. She'll start testing potential nesting sites by digging small exploratory holes, evaluating soil texture, moisture, and temperature. Her appetite often decreases significantly, which makes sense when you consider the physical space those developing eggs are taking up inside her shell. You might also notice increased basking behavior. The female needs to maintain optimal body temperature to ensure proper egg development. Some females become more aggressive or territorial during this period, protecting their energy reserves for the demanding task ahead. For aquatic species, females may spend more time on land than usual, surveying potential nesting areas. This is when observation becomes crucial. If you're caring for turtles in captivity, recognizing these signs means it's time to provide an appropriate nesting area. A deep substrate box with moist soil or sand where she can safely lay her eggs. By the time the female is ready to lay, she may produce anywhere from 1 to 30 eggs, depending on her species, size, and health. Larger, older females generally produce more eggs than younger, smaller ones. The nesting process is one of the most captivating behaviors in the turtle world. It's a display of instinct, precision, and determination that has remained virtually unchanged for millions of years. When the time is right, often triggered by environmental cues like temperature, humidity, and moon phase, the female begins her search for the perfect nesting site. She's looking for specific conditions: warm soil, adequate moisture, the right texture for digging, and safety from predators. Once she's selected her spot, the real work begins. Using only her hind legs, the female digs a flask-shaped hole. This distinctive shape is crucial. The narrow opening helps conceal the nest, while the wider chamber provides space for the eggs. The digging process is meticulous. She alternates her hind legs, scooping out soil with remarkable precision despite not being able to see what she's doing. It's all done by touch and instinct. Depending on the soil conditions and the species, this excavation can take anywhere from 1 to several hours. Once the chamber reaches the proper depth, typically 6 to 12 inches, though this varies by species, the egg-laying begins. Each egg is carefully positioned as it emerges, often rotated slightly by those same hind legs to fit perfectly within the chamber. After all eggs are laid, the female carefully covers the nest, using her hind legs to scrape soil back into the hole. But she doesn't stop there. She'll often disguise the nest site by spreading leaves, smoothing the surface, or even creating false nests nearby to confuse predators. And then, in one of nature's most bittersweet moments, she walks away. Turtles provide no parental care after nesting. Those eggs are completely on their own, protected only by their shells, the surrounding soil, and perhaps a bit of luck. Now begins the waiting game, the incubation period where turtle eggs develop underground, hidden from the world above. Depending on the species and environmental conditions, incubation can last anywhere from 60 to 180 days. That's 2 to 6 months of development in an underground chamber, completely dependent on the surrounding environment. Here's where things get really interesting. Temperature doesn't just affect how quickly the eggs develop. It literally determines whether the hatchlings will be male or female. This phenomenon is called temperature-dependent sex determination, and it's found in all turtle species. Generally speaking, cooler temperatures produce mostly males, while warmer temperatures produce mostly females. There's typically a narrow range, sometimes just a few degrees, where you get a mix of both sexes. For many species, temperatures around 81 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit produce males, while temperatures of 88 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit produce females. This makes turtles particularly vulnerable to climate change. As global temperatures rise, some populations are producing predominantly or exclusively female hatchlings, which could threaten long-term survival. But temperature isn't the only critical factor. Moisture levels must be just right. Too dry, and the eggs desiccate. Too wet, and they may develop fungal infections or drown. Oxygen must be able to permeate the soil. Even subtle vibrations from predators or human activity can affect development. The developing embryos undergo remarkable transformations within their shells. From a tiny cluster of cells, they develop complete skeletal systems, organs, limbs, and that distinctive shell. By the time they're ready to hatch, they're fully formed miniature versions of their parents, equipped with everything they need to survive independently from their very first moments of life. After months of silent development, the moment finally arrives, hatching time. Each tiny hatchling comes equipped with a special temporary tool, the egg tooth or caruncle, a small, sharp projection on the tip of their snout designed specifically for one purpose: breaking free from the egg. The hatching process isn't quick or easy. A hatchling may spend hours, sometimes even days, working to crack through the shell. They'll make a small pip, that first crack, then rest. Slowly, methodically, they'll expand the opening, working their way around the inside of the shell until they can finally push their way out. But here's what many people don't know. Even after emerging from the shell, hatchlings often don't immediately surface. They may remain underground for several more hours or even a couple of days. Why? They're absorbing the remnants of their yolk sac, the nutrient-rich supply that sustained them through development. This final meal gives them the energy reserves they need for their dangerous journey ahead. For many species, particularly sea turtles, hatchlings wait for environmental cues before emerging. They typically surface at night when temperatures are cooler and predators are less active. They can sense vibration, temperature changes, and even the slant of the beach, which helps them orient toward water. When they finally emerge from the ground, these tiny turtles, often no bigger than a coin, face the most dangerous moment of their lives. The journey from nest to safety is fraught with predators. Birds, crabs, raccoons, foxes, and countless other threats see these hatchlings as an easy meal. For terrestrial species, the young turtles instinctively seek shelter, thick vegetation, fallen logs, or burrows. For aquatic species, there's an urgent scramble toward water, guided by instinct and the reflection of moonlight on the surface. From the moment they emerge, turtle hatchlings are completely on their own. There's no parental guidance, no teaching, no protection. Everything they do is driven by instinct programmed into them through millions of years of evolution. These tiny survivors instinctively know what they need: shelter from predators, food sources appropriate to their species, and moist environments that prevent dehydration while their shells are still soft and vulnerable. Aquatic hatchlings begin swimming immediately, often diving deep or seeking the cover of aquatic vegetation. Terrestrial species find hiding spots under leaf litter, in burrows, or beneath rocks, anywhere they can avoid detection. But let's be honest about the harsh reality. Survival rates for turtle hatchlings in the wild are devastatingly low. Research suggests that only about 1 in 1,000, sometimes as low as 1 in 10,000, will survive to adulthood. The threats are endless. Predation is the biggest killer, claiming the majority of hatchlings in their first days and weeks of life. Dehydration and starvation claim others who can't find appropriate resources quickly enough. Disease, parasites, and environmental hazards like pollution or habitat destruction add to the toll. Some hatchlings face obstacles they simply can't overcome: inability to reach water due to development or roads, falling prey to domestic animals, or becoming disoriented by artificial lighting. But here's the incredible part. Those individuals that do survive, that make it through those first critical months and years, can live for 50 to 150 years or more. Some species, like the Galapagos tortoise, regularly exceed 100 years in the wild. These survivors will eventually reach sexual maturity themselves, continuing the cycle. A single female who makes it to adulthood might lay thousands of eggs over her lifetime, ensuring that despite the low survival rate, turtle populations have persisted for over 200 million years, outlasting the dinosaurs and countless other species. From those surprisingly aggressive courtship displays to the solitary emergence of tiny hatchlings, the turtle reproductive cycle is a testament to nature's resilience and ingenuity. These ancient reptiles have refined their reproductive strategy over millions of years, creating a system that, despite its seemingly harsh approach to offspring survival, has proven remarkably successful. The combination of temperature-dependent sex determination, sperm storage, instinctive nesting behavior, and complete hatchling independence has allowed turtles to thrive in virtually every habitat on Earth. But this success story now faces unprecedented challenges. Habitat destruction, pollution, climate change, and the illegal pet trade threaten turtle populations worldwide. Many species that survived for millions of years are now critically endangered, their nesting sites destroyed, their hatchlings disoriented by artificial lights, and their adults killed for meat or shells. Understanding the turtle life cycle isn't just fascinating. It's crucial for conservation. Every nesting beach protected, every hatchling that makes it safely to water, every adult that survives to breed again, matters tremendously for the future of these remarkable creatures. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more in-depth wildlife content. Drop a comment below telling me what surprised you most about the turtle life cycle, or what species you'd like me to cover next. And remember, whether you encounter turtle nests in the wild or keep turtles as pets, that knowledge you gain today helps you appreciate and protect these incredible survivors. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.